My baby daddy slept with a 19-year-old girl from work while I was pregnant. I'm looking for opinions on this matter on whether or not I have the right to be upset. So backstory on this situation. We have been on and off for 4 years and already have one child together. We all lived together in the house I bought and had zero assistance in getting from him. He recently took a different job making $4 less than he used to and switched to a second shift, leaving me at home to deal with a toddler alone at bedtime after working all day myself and being pregnant. Through the whole pregnancy, he showed zero interest in the baby, never purchased a single thing for our son we were expecting. I noticed in March, when I was about 5 months pregnant, he was coming home later than usual. He would get off work at 1:30 but not be getting in until 3, even though we live 15 minutes away. After further investigating and going through his car, I discovered he was abusing pills from the gas station. He charged $1,700 in 3 weeks on his credit card, getting high off gas station opiates. It took 2 weeks before I got the full truth from him. I had kicked him out upon initially finding the pills and took him back under the stipulation he would go to addiction counseling, give access to his bank accounts and social media. Fast forward a couple months and he randomly logged me out of his social media and never followed up on his counseling as promised. When I confronted him, he said he thought couples counseling would be more beneficial, so we split again. 1 day later, he texts me something intended for someone else, which said, "I just want you to know I think you would make a great nurse." He lied and said it was to his cousin, but really it was for the 19-year-old he worked with on second shift. We separated May 12 and our son was born July 13. He came back right before the baby was born, and we had sex one time before the baby was born. 2 months go by and I find the same patterns happening. Withdrawn on the phone all the time, odd behavior. So I go through his computer and find naked photos of the girl saved to his files. He's 32. He said the photos automatically backed up and he didn't know they were there, but he has an old HP and an iPhone. He also says I have zero reason to be mad because we were separated when he was having unprotected sex with this girl. During the time before the baby was born and we weren't together, he still never purchased anything for son but makes claims he only slept with his girlfriend because he thought we were done for good. They were getting rooms at the Super 8 motel since she lives at home with her grandma. Is there reason to be upset over this even though we were technically separated? Story 2. My fiancé asked me 24F to flirt with his boss. 2 years ago, my boyfriend was close to a promotion at the law firm he was working at. Since there was another potential candidate for the position, my boyfriend asked me to help him by flirting a little bit with his boss on the Christmas party at their firm. He assumed that this might give him a better chance. First, I was really upset about his idea. I felt like he wanted to use my body. During college, I worked as a part-time model, so I was used to men objectifying my body, but my boyfriend doing it wasn't something I expected. We had a long argument about it. Also, our relationship wasn't running that well, since he was almost constantly working to get this promotion. Basically, I was unsatisfying, emotionally as physically, especially physically. Long story short, I somehow agreed to just flirt a little with his boss, because I hoped that then all of this overtime, no vacation and no free weekends, would end. In the end it would, but in a completely different way. At the day of the Christmas party, I got dressed up in my black cocktail dress, which perfectly shows of my trained body, and my fitting 5-inch heels. I expected his boss to be an old, ugly guy, because he always talked about him as if he was, but arriving at the party, it turned out he was a tall, incredibly handsome mid-30s guy, who took over the firm from his dad. We immediately had eye contact, and from then I was not really minding that my BF asked me to flirt with him because I wanted to flirt with him anyways. It turns out he was also incredibly smart and really good at flirting. I could tell he constantly checked me out. I really enjoyed it because I could see how my BF got more and more uncomfortable with this situation, making him drink way too much and way too fast. Me and his boss also got tipsy from the champagne we were constantly sipping. He definitely made sure I never had an empty glass. He also became way more touchy. I mean, he used every possibility to touch my thigh or my back. Every touch a little bit higher up my thigh or lower on my back. It drove me crazy. I haven't been heavily flirting with another guy since I started dating with my BF. I love to play in this predator-prey game, especially with such a man. And I have to admit, I couldn't resist to feel his extremely strong arms from time to time. Things went on as we keep sipping more and more champagne, while he started to talk about my BF. He told me that he was never in the position to expect a promotion, and we had a long conversation about my BF and my relationship, which planted the seed of questioning why I was in a relationship with this guy in my head. At some point, he started to talk about the great view he has from his penthouse apartment, which was just on the top of the firm's office building. Even though I realized what he tried to initiate, I stayed interested and asked some more questions about his apartment and the view. At this point, my boyfriend came and said that he called an Uber such that we can go home. Before I could say anything, his boss replied to him that I want to see the great view from his penthouse and he wants to have me enjoy the skyline, so my boyfriend should just wait downstairs for us. This whole dominance over my boyfriend was such a turn-on, I just couldn't resist. I followed him into the elevator to his apartment, and when we entered the elevator, he wrapped his strong arm around my back with his big hand resting on my butt cheek, such that my body was pressed against him from the side. My boyfriend stared at us in disbelief, totally frozen, while his boss looked him in his eyes with a dominant kind of evil smile. As the elevator door closed, he said in dark voice, "A woman like you just don't belong to a weak man like him." It was exactly at this moment that the switch in my mind finally turned over. Hope you liked it so far. Tell me if you want to know more about what happened afterwards. Story 3. I get off on cheating/disrespecting on my GF. I'm a 25-yo-m and my GF is 20F. She cheated on me when our relationship was relatively new, and despite being broken up, I took her back. Well, we've been together 3 years now, and about 1.5 years ago, I decided to cheat every chance I got. I'm pretty good at covering tracks, so I don't think I'll get caught. I have a main side, plus another who has a BF she cheats on, and then a girl who me and my GF had a threesome with. She has threesomes because she thinks it'll keep me loyal. But then my GF decided she couldn't stand this girl, so we could never her again. Suffice to say, I messaged her and WS now meet up on the side sometimes. On top of these girls, I get the odd random one from Tinder, secret account. Weird thing is that I thought I would feel bad, but I don't. I get off on it, a lot. I love texting my GF while my side sucks my. I love texting them while my GF is sucking it too. I think about her waiting at home loyally, thinking I'm out with a friend, when actually I'm balls deep in another girl. Since she cheated once, I've demanded control of her devices and passwords so that I can check them regularly. On top of that, she comes home by a certain time to prove how she's being loyal. Meanwhile, I love getting inside strange with no condom and then coming home and my GF right after. With 2 of the girls, we mock my GF and how dumb she is for being clueless about my cheating. One of my sides likes me to call her and talk to her on speaker while she sucks me off. It's like a fun little game we have, haha. I that side, including anally, and then go home and tell my girl to give me a BJ like 30 mins later. She always does and has never questioned the taste of my. She just sucks away like a dutiful girlfriend and swallows my load. I like to look down at her and chuckle to myself at where my has been recently when she's doing it. It's a power trip. Anyway, I have no desire to stop, and I know people are gonna hate on this post. But if you want to hear more, let me know. I'm happy to go into detail and relive my evil tendencies.